Hello and welcome to the daily levels for June 3, Monday, June 3. It's right after 8:30 a.m., but after the market closes this afternoon or evening, I'll come back to this chart, analyze all the trades taken in the E-minis, and we'll talk about them then. Thanks. Have a great day. We had a good day today. 3 levels were hit. Well, 1 level and 1 zone, effectively 3 levels. And another level that you see here, this lighter blue line at 526.10, it was something identified in real time, and it served me well as a target and target mostly, but I did do a short trade underneath. This will be better understood when we watch the recording of the live trades today. Pulled a lot of points out. So this first trade here, playing by the rules, this gap I told you was important. If you apply the 5-cent buffer as they came down into it, which is what I did, 527.38. That pulled up immediately, and there's the 10 o'clock data announcement or data release that jolted the market. And didn't mention this too much. I don't think I focused on it too much this morning in the pre-market video, but started to see some things take shape pretty soon after the market got underway, or the spiders started moving, was that they probably were going to retrace a portion of that move on Friday, especially when you're looking at, like, say, a 1 or 2 hour chart. We can maybe look at that later. So I had some targets down here, or this was the target, and then a safety net below. This was actually a really important retracement and other things happening, a lot of convergences down here. So I was willing to wait this out and ride it up. I was aiming for above 526 initially, and I adjusted that, but still, I got a pretty good amount of points on multiple trades today. So let's jump to the recording and we'll talk through it there. This is going to start rolling right before the first trade was taken. So 9:45 had already come and gone, and it's approaching whatever time this was when it hit, 9:56, 9:57. Just pulled a quick base hit of 5.5 points with 2 contracts. Felt pretty good about a bounce, and I was out before the 10 o'clock data release, which is good because I wouldn't know if they were going to, which direction they're going to push it. As it turned out, they jolted the market up, and then it fell back down later. So there you go, the 10 o'clock, and I'm out of this trade, waiting for them to come up here. I had pending orders up here for a while, but as I'll scrub ahead, you'll see that they never got that high, and I'm not interested in taking a trade again at this 527.38 level. However, when they got below this, let me back up. I did something I don't do very often, but I was waiting for them to, I'll pause this so I can explain what I'm thinking here. I expected them to come down here. And so while I don't like to trade or say sell at the lows, essentially, I fully expected them to go lower than they were. So if they got below this level, this gap here, then I figured there'd be more selling pressure and price might fall. So what I actually did is sold a contract, I think just 1 contract, when they got below this level the first time. Could have waited a little bit longer. There we go. So I'm short 1 contract, looking for whatever this is, more than a base hit. Yeah. And it happened. They gave it to me. I guess that's 6 points there. So the first contract, or the first trade with 2 contracts, got 5.5 points. So I'm calling these base hits. They're just a little bit, some creative liberties I'm taking here based on the action that I'm seeing on other charts and just some of the kind of the momentum here, as they're presumably going to retrace the move from Friday. I'll move ahead a little bit and we'll see this trade. There, they fell right through it. So this other level I identified was more of a target, really, for other reasons. I wasn't really willing to take a trade. This was not a formula-derived level from the morning, but I did use it a couple other times. I'll show you how. So they got below it, and at some point I went short again when they came back up into it. There we go, short 1, and I got a handful of points on this, maybe 8 points or so. I think I adjusted this later because it was $400 when I, there we go, $400, 1 contract is 8 points. So they came down after waiting this one out and got below it. Another target down here, which didn't come into play for this. I'm talking about the 525.10. I didn't use it for anything. What I was expecting them to do is get into this zone, and they did. I'll back up a little bit so you can see. So I didn't do anything with 525.10. I ended up removing it later after this short trade here was satisfied. They fell pretty fast into the zone, and I had a level right, but like 524.45. You see me hovering there. I had it triggered to go I wanted to buy within this zone. We're not right at the extremes of it. So what you see here is me long 2, and I had another order toward the bottom here, I think at 523.65 to buy another 2. And I think so I had another limit order in the middle. So by the time they got down to the bottom, I was long 6, hoping they would just come out of this pretty quickly. But what they did is they approached my safety net down here, which was, well, I'll tell you, it was a 61.8% retracement on one of the moves, Fibonacci level, and on one of the moves from Friday. And then I kind of narrowed down a zone from a couple other reasons. So I was okay for them to go a little bit lower. And I end up buying again at some point, was long 8. And as I've mentioned before, I'm kind of approaching the position size where, I'm kind of, I don't want to be stretched too thin. Now, this is why you'd never see me just buy, say, 6 contracts or whatever at one level, because I don't know necessarily, especially if the next level is close by, if they're going to go down to the next level. Because for my strategy to work well, I would buy again with the same position size so I can average in the middle of that zone or the middle of the levels. But I did buy 2 more, and then when they got down into this zone here, which once again identified in real time, I bought here just at the market. Didn't have a limit order on the board, but you'll see an order just show up here. So at this point, I was long 8 by the time I'm down there. So I was 10 contracts here, which was kind of steep for me, but I held on to it. So here I'm long 8. They get farther down, just giving this some time because this is based on longer term data, meaning it would take longer for this to play out. But my goal at this point was up near 527. I mean, you can see 526 was important after the fact, and this was going to probably provide some type of overhead resistance if and when they got up there. So what you'll see me do is with my 10 contracts, I end up taking 6 off here, and then I trailed 4 up a little higher. So here's where I'm, kind of worrying a little bit because I don't want them to get below this level. Oh, by the way, I'm pointing out here, this fumble threshold here, which is based off of my original entry point, they never gave any signal underneath this level the entire time they were out of the money for me to reverse. Not that it would have reversed anyway, because it just needed more time. So anyway, here I'm long 10 at this point because I bought down in here, and that was the money spot. And you'll see me pull 6 contracts off at 7 points, 7.25 points or something, and trailed the remaining 4 up for a while. I had a target up here. You'll see it in a minute. So let me just scrub ahead. You'll see them come up, satisfy that. So there's my initial target, which was I wanted to be out before they got to 526.10. I thought, they might make it to 527 and just basically negate that entire down move from, the entire up move from yesterday. This is a big retracement. And ultimately, I brought it back down to a more reasonable exit. So my goal is to either take whatever it gives me. If it continues up higher, I think I've adjusted it down to 40. How many points it was. So my trailing stop, which I was doing manually, but I had a limit order here. I'm looking at a 10-minute chart, and I'm adjusting this 4 contract trailer just manually. I'm not letting it just pull up, say, 7 or 8 or 10 points. I just want to kind of stay underneath a certain zone. So I thought if they come up here, I'll take it. If they come down here, I'll take it. And it ended up coming down first, and that was fine. And at this point, I'm over $6,000, and I'm happy, and I don't want to take any more trades because at this point, I'm not sure they're going to do anything else. I kept recording this for a while, just kind of looked at a few other things. And yeah, they did come down, by the way. So I'm glad I got out where I did. But at the end of the day, they pulled up pretty high above 527. But these levels had already been traded, so I'm not going to trade them again. So I stopped the recording about right here, right before 2:30 or so. So I'll just go pause this and let's just go back to the full day. Of course, we'll look at the tracking log, but base hit, 4 points. Base hit, combined position, 4 at each. That's 12 points total, playing by their rules. I had several other trades in here as well, so it was actually over 40 points all told. So not a bad way to start the week for me. One more thing, I said I would go ahead and show a longer term chart here. This is a 120-minute, 1 hour chart. So this is what they did. This is the last 120-minute candle on Friday, the 31st of May. And so they kind of did a little bit of a fake out going higher, but there's a good chance for a lot of other reasons that there's going to be a retracement after a day like that. But you also had a way to run a retracement from here. So this area was really important for a lot of different reasons. And this is where I got in with most of my contracts today. And for anyone who had the levels from this morning and traded them, I hope you earned some money, pulled some points out of the market. There's no reason you couldn't have pulled some points. Here are the 12 points using the rules, essentially just treating each level independently and pulling a base hit of 4 points out each. I end up getting 40.75 points total. Now, yes, I had multiple trades, like 2 contracts, a couple times with 1, and that where I loaded up on contracts and had 10. I pulled 6 off and then 4 up later. So the total was 40.75, and it was 60-25 before commissions. Pretty good day, but you can see here with that number of points, it's been a while since I've had that many points, honestly. I feel like I kind of over traded today a little bit, but I felt pretty good about where they're going in the longer term. So that's why I was willing to do what I did. But anyway, trading 1 contract, this is, and 2 and 3 and so forth, what you would expect with that number of points. And just divide this by 10, you get a pretty general idea of what a micro would give you. Pretty good day. So those were the trades. Pretty interesting day, and I enjoyed it. I worked hard for it, though. So I hope you learned something. And just a little update, the trading course is coming along very well. I'm almost finished. Got some tweaks I'm doing to it, and then I'm going to update a few things on the website, and it will be available, and there will be more information to follow about that. So thanks for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I appreciate the support, and those of you who are commenting on your experience with these levels, it does give me some satisfaction knowing that they're working for you guys. You see the trades I take, and if you are able to, you are more than welcome to follow along and trade the same levels. Thanks. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.